Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, we will talk about most lost mega projects in the world. However, before we start our countdown, we would appreciate it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon. So, let's get started. Number 5. Brazil's controversial stadium in the rainforest. Brazil famously hosted the 2014 Football World Cup, and for a country so obsessed with the sport, it was a pretty big deal. However, the country needed a lot of renovations to be ready for the showpiece event. In total, Brazil had to build 12 new football stadiums and renovate some old ones. This massive mega project was going to cost Brazil a total of $11 billion. But despite the immense cost, the country was looking forward to showing its passion for the sport to the scoreheads at home. But, as in many countries that host a World Cup, these huge mega projects are not necessarily economically viable in the long run. Critics and economic consequences are often overlooked. To deliver the best show possible for the World Cup, in many ways, the whole project didn't make any economic sense. But the most obvious was the construction of the Arena da Amazônia in Manaus, which took 4 years to build and cost around $250 million. The construction itself was no easy task. Manaus is Brazil's 7th largest city, but it is located in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. This remote location poses difficult challenges in moving large amounts of goods. Number 4. China's abandoned ghost cities. China's rise as a major economic power in the early 2000s was accompanied by a real estate boom. Megaprojects sprung up all over the country, and its major cities became home to some of the world's most famous skyscrapers. However, not all of these projects were a success. In fact, China has accumulated plenty of ghost cities that cost billions to build, but have largely remained empty. For today's video, we turn to China's Hebei province, which is home to one such project. The Xianjian International Project is an 800-acre development in Sijiazhuang that was dubbed as a city within a city. Developed at a cost of $3 billion, the project consisted of 2 parts: a bigger high-end residential community with apartments and theme parks, and a smaller commercial hub containing shopping complexes and skyscrapers. The location of the project is very convenient, as it is built right next to a high-speed train stop and in close proximity to underground metro stations. This location isn't at all isolated like some of the other projects we have featured in this series. So how did this enormous project end up abandoned with almost no population? When the project was first announced, there was a lot of positive excitement. 700 housing units were quickly sold, but in 2014, the construction was stopped abruptly as the real estate company behind the project was put under investigation by the local authorities. By 2017, the charges of corruption were proved, and consequently, the property prices saw a sharp decline, and the company declared bankruptcy. Number 3. The world's emptiest airport. In 2009, the island nation of Sri Lanka just ended its deadly civil war. The victorious President Mahinda Rajapaksa immediately made up plans to give the country an economic push. At the time, the country's biggest city, Colombo, was the only city with an international airport. However, that was all about to change as the president envisioned a second commercial hub in the Hambantota region, located 250 kilometers away from the former capital. This region was already experiencing a massive construction boom, and a new seaport was built there with the help of China, a partner willing to invest billions into infrastructure projects. The next big plan was to build Sri Lanka's second international airport in the small town of Matala, located just outside of Hambantota city. At the time, a government agency submitted a report advising against the construction of a second international airport at Matala. The report concluded that the money would be better spent on extending the international airport in Colombo instead. However, the government ignored the warning and still went through with the plan. Construction began in November 2009 and the airport was completed in just over 3 years. It was named after the president himself and officially opened for flight operations in March 2013. The total cost of the project was $210 million, 190 of which were loaned by China. Number 2. America's largest failed science project. We start today's list with one of the largest physics megaprojects in history. When completed, the superconducting supercollider in Texas would consist of a circular tunnel system around Waxahachie that would serve as the world's most energetic particle accelerator. Particle accelerators use electric fields to accelerate charged particles to very high speeds. They are used for research purposes and help scientists unearth the mysteries of our universe. Particle accelerators have been around since the 1930s, and as of today, about 30,000 of them have been built around the world. However, none of them come close to producing as much energy as the superconducting super collider planned to be built in Texas. In the 1980s, design calculations for the SSC began in 1983, and the project was approved by the Reagan administration in 1987. The project found massive support in Texas due to its wide range of applications and the hope of scientific supremacy. But while the plans for the project looked promising, reality painted a very different picture. As it turned out, a project of this scale faced many unsolved challenges, which eventually led to a point where the whole project had to be reconsidered. But what exactly happened? The biggest roadblock, as with many failed megaprojects, was the budget overrun the SSC accumulated over the years. According to initial estimates, the whole project was to be completed at a cost of $4 billion. However, the project's magnitude made it impossible to stay within the allocated budget. Number 1. The most useless hotel in the world. Next on the list
is the tallest unoccupied building in the world, also known as North Korea's Tower of Doom. North Korea isn't too keen on hosting tourists. The state's policy of secrecy and regulation of any interaction between the locals and foreigners means the country isn't a major tourist attraction. However, this reluctance to host tourists wasn't always there. In the 1980s, North Korea, fueled by its rivalry with South Korea, planned on hosting thousands of foreign visitors in the world's tallest hotel. South Korea, backed by the United States, had won the hosting rights to the 1988 Olympics. Moreover, a South Korean state firm just finished building the tallest hotel in the world in Singapore. Not to be left behind, North Korea won the hosting rights of the 1989 World Festival of Youth. A year later, the country broke ground on a unique pyramid-shaped hotel in the capital, Pyongyang. At a height of 330 meters, Ryugyong Hotel would surpass the hotel built by South Korea to become the tallest hotel of all time. North Korea had planned to inaugurate the hotel on the eve of the festival. However, the construction couldn't be completed in time due to engineering problems. Funnily enough, it's actually not finished to this day.
The hotel's height finally topped out in 1992. However, by that time, the financial backer of the project, the Soviet Union, no longer existed. So this was our today's video. I hope you all like this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe my channel. And also share it with your friends and family. We will be back soon with a new video. Till then, keep supporting and take care.